You did all of that for what? Because you weren't featured on any episode after that. All that thirsty and desperate behavior for what? Welcome to La Vida Rosa. I'm your host, Pinky, and today we're going to be talking about Love is Blind, episodes 6 through 10. But before we begin, I'd like for everyone to check out my website, lavidarosastyle.com, where you can find cute accessories like the ones I'm wearing right now. Like, comment, and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get into this video. Let me just say this about these episodes. I was very shocked by the ending. I did not expect for the outcomes to be what they are. We're going to discuss them, but I was shocked because I couldn't trust their decision making this entire time until the very end. That last episode almost made up for the rest. Almost, because it's a couple that I still, we're going to get to it. Danielle and Nick. When I tell you that was an emotional roller coaster I just could not get off of, like, Danielle needs help, okay? I don't say that lightly, okay? She's highly insecure, much more insecure than we thought, okay? She told us that she was, but to see it and to experience it was jarring. She literally made a problem where there was no problem. Constantly. This man couldn't do nothing right, okay? Now, Nick has his ways. I'm not going to act like Nick ain't got his ways, because he was very messy. He showed his very messy side in these episodes. And he was causing drama. He was stirring the pot, okay? I thought that it was very innocent. But seeing what I saw with that whole Shane, Natalie and Shayna situation, I was like, oh, you messy, okay? You messy. So we meet both of their families. When he meets her family, you know, her mom is very lively, she seems very overbearing, very opinionated. You know, they're very free to talk about anything in that household. They were having some conversations that would have been very uncomfortable for me to have with my mother-in-law. But you know what? It went well. She seemed like she really liked him, but it really seemed like they're trying to get Danielle married off. She wants this to work out so bad. They're trying to get her married off, okay? Because even the mom says that she sabotages her relationships. So they had this great meeting with her family, and she completely second-guessed their entire relationship because right after he brought up that he was having issues with his family, she was so self-absorbed that when he didn't completely gush about her family, she took that as him not caring about her and made it into this big thing. And I was so proud of him when he was like, everything is not about you. Like, you want the man to open up to you. You want him to be able to tell you things. And when he does, this is what you do. This is how you act. And if y'all are going to be together and y'all going to be partners, when he's having issues with his family, he can't come to you because he got to be worried about what you got going on. And then when they met with his mom, I don't know if his mom just has like this stoic demeanor, but she clearly was very skeptical. They definitely were not as welcoming as her family was. And I think they just saw the red flags on her, because as soon as she sat down at the table, she was just spilling out all of her insecurities and her life story. Like, she leads with that. Like, her whole personality is being insecure, and we need to work on that, honey. That's scary. Learn how to do a little small talk in the beginning. Like, the first thing you say is how insecure you were about your weight. Like, she always leads with that. Something that was red flaggish about Chris, though, the mom thought he would never get married and he would be in long-term relationships, and it sounded like he would be wasting people's time. So it just, I don't know. I just kind of wanted a little bit more information about that. Like, why do you feel that way? I don't know. Like, why your mama feel like that? That would make me ask more questions, okay? And she's just sitting up here. She didn't know what questions to ask, child. She just young acting because he was like, well, you know, he doesn't want her leaving every weekend to hang out with her friends. Make time for us. Or, you know, am I invited? Like, I feel like that is logical to ask of your partner. And she's acting like he doesn't want her to be with her friends. And it's like, no, girl, like, we don't know each other. We need time to spend with each other. We're married now. Like, I'm sure y'all worked through the week. y'all should spend some weekends together. Like, I get it, you want to be with your friends too, but some of that lifestyle you have to let go. And she just was not, she was so stubborn and unwilling. It just starts these unnecessary arguments because she wants it to be her way or the highway, but she disguises it as making it seem like he's trying to control her or something like that, when he's asking her questions. He's not demanding things. She just can't help herself but to start with him. It just, look, I told y'all, I feel like she's extremely insecure, but I also feel like, why is he here? Maybe he really does care about her, but after what the mama said, I'm just like, why are you sticking around? You don't stick around for nothing else. You ain't never tried to marry none of your girlfriends, so why are you sticking around with this? It just makes me question him. I'm gonna be honest, like, I question him after these episodes because she's so exhausting. So why are you putting up with it? And then they get to the wedding day and both of them say yes. I wanted him to say no, but if he like it, I love it. That relationship is very toxic though. Like, she needs like extensive therapy to help her work through these issues because she's constantly taking all of her insecurities out on him, and it's not healthy. It's shake and deep tea. So when they meet her parents, they welcome him with open arms. I feel like he's got his best representative on right now. You know, he's impressing the parents. The way that it keeps coming up that she never wanted an Indian man is, it's just cringy, y'all. It's cringy. Even her family said it. When you're only dating white, blonde hair, blue-eyed people, and this goes for both of them, it's almost like you don't think someone that looks like you is good enough. But where I give Deep T a little bit more credit is that she was open to being with this man. She knew he was Indian when he proposed and she said yes. And I feel like she really did give her all into this experiment. You know what I'm saying? Even though, you know, she does normally go for white, blonde hair, blue-eyed men, she was open to being in a relationship with him. Whereas he literally did this to be on the show. He was never attracted to her. He told everybody that. He's been saying that pretty much, I'll say, from day 2, okay? He tried to pretend the first day. So I'm going to go ahead and say, I believe his was rooted in self-hate because I don't think he'll ever truly give an Indian woman a chance. So this is the first person she's ever brought home, child. I hate it for her. This is the first person she ever brought home. Even though she had a 6-year relationship, this is the first guy she's brought home. And then she meets his parents, and his parents are so sweet, but you could tell they are tired of him. His daddy was tired of him, okay? His daddy barely said 2 words. He was over his son, okay? And then he pulled his mom to the side and told, like, he literally told everybody that he wasn't attracted to her before he even said a word to her. But he told his mom that, and I love that his mom told him that she doesn't deserve a man that only wants her halfway. I was like, thank you, mama. She know her son. She know her son was playing and putting on. She knew. So eventually, after he told everyone else in the world that he's not attracted to her, he finally told her. I just hate the fact that she was trying to kind of give him reasons to stay in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, shouldn't you marry your best friend? At the end of the day, he's too shallow to overlook that she's not a white woman and that she's, like, you know, got a little thickness to her, which a lot of men love. At some point, he says he reminds her of his aunt. When people say stuff like, oh, you remind me of my brother, or you remind me of my cousin or my uncle, or, you know, family members, that's just a nice way of telling you they don't like you. He should have ended it right then and there. If she reminds you of your aunt, why are you even going through with this farce? Like, why are you even playing with her emotions? And he was sitting up here telling this to Shane. The fact that Shane was getting him together and telling him about himself says a lot. So we get to the wedding. I have to say, I loved her bridal look. She looked beautiful, just gorgeous. Their whole wedding, you know, was very much a part of the Indian culture, and it just was like, even the way he came in, even though I can't stand him, the way he came in I thought was cute. It just was like a very beautiful setting. I feel like this entire time she let him lead in a lot of ways, and she didn't really put her foot down in a lot of these instances. But I'm so glad when she got to that altar, she finally chose herself. She saw her worth. And I screamed so loud when she said no to him, because I really didn't see that coming. I really thought she was going to go through with this. Like, just seeing the looks on both of their families' faces, I just thought she was going to go through with it because, you know, they were already there and dressed up. But she didn't. And I was like, I really like jumped up out of my seat and just like, yes, I was so happy for her, because this is a good step in the right direction for your self-esteem. I was so proud of her because she had the perfect reasoning. Like, I deserve to have a man that's going to want me 100%. Someone who knows they want to be with me for sure, and someone who's going to put me first. I do believe he was relieved that she said it, but I do think he was shocked though. He was more shocked than he was leading on. And he was just being a jerk about it. Like, I'm glad she didn't, so I wouldn't have to, because I wasn't going to say I didn't want her. Like, why are you saying that in that crowd full of people? You just made yourself look worse. Like, you made everybody on your side know that she made the right decision. Like, oh, I'm glad she didn't get with you the way you talking about her. I'm going to be at the club tonight. You know, it ain't going to affect me. Like, then why did you go through all of this? Why did you do all of this if you didn't care? Because I feel like deep tea, even though she chose herself, I feel like it did kind of hurt her that she realized this man didn't care about her. And she was fully invested. But you just, I'll be at the club. He'll never learn. He's one of those people that will never learn because he doesn't think he's wrong. He doesn't think there's anything wrong with the way that he's acting. He doesn't see anything wrong with what he did. But you gonna get it back. Watch. You gonna get it back. Let's move on to Kyle and Shayna. There's not much to say between Kyle and Shayna. She knew that she was meant to be with Shane, but you accepted his proposal with his mom's ring. Like, just trifling. Why would you even have him meet your family knowing that that's how you felt? Then they had the cringiest meeting with the family. At the end of the day, she knew that when she said he was an atheist, that her family would not approve because her mom did not approve. And so she ended up using that as the reason for breaking up with him. It's kind of low-key offensive because this should have been the first conversation with him if you were that devout. That's going to be within my first conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you truly care the way that you do, that wouldn't have been one of y'all final conversations. Like, I just don't believe that it means that much to her the way she says it does. But I'm so glad that he got her together. Like, he low-key snapped on her. Like, why would you even accept the proposal if you knew it was that serious? Like, if I was him, I would have snatched that ring back from her like Rashad did Nunu. Snatched it. Why would you accept my mother's ring knowing how sentimental something like that is? Like, she handled this all wrong. Clearly, she just wanted to stay in this situation so she could cause drama with Natalie and Shane. And that's exactly what she did. Now that the facade is gone between her and Kyle, she's strictly here to try to break them up, right? Imagine trying to steal Shane from somebody. How embarrassing. Shane? The frat boy Beetlejuice? That's who you want to steal, child? Like, I cannot. So apparently Natalie and Shayna have this conversation, I'm guessing, like, after the vacation. Shayna told Natalie that if it doesn't work out with Shane, then I have someone that I could hook you up with. Which is shady because, ma'am, I know you want him. Like, why would you say that to me? So that happens, and then they have this get together where all of the Love is Blind people come up and meet with one another and see how they look in person. You know, not just the couples, but everyone else that participated in the experiment. Shayna and Nick and Danielle are over there being messy. Like, why is Natalie so threatened? Why is Natalie so threatened by you? Like, really being like very catty. Like, you are trying to take him. So why are you trying to act like she's being insecure when in actuality that is what you're doing? And then she keeps on talking about how basically Natalie doesn't deserve him. So I guess you do deserve him. What makes you deserve him over Natalie? Because I could go there. I don't have any proof that that's what it is. That's the only reason why I'm not going to go there. But you keep saying she don't deserve him. And I'm trying to figure out, why are you saying that? So then her and Shane go have a conversation to the side. He calls her out for what she said to Natalie about hooking her up with someone else in case it didn't work, because low-key that's offensive to him as well. So she gaslit the situation and said it was a joke, and Natalie must be bored in her relationship for her to even bring it up to him. And it's like, don't you realize you're low-key being insulting to him too? That's how I know she don't really want Shane. She don't really want Shane. She just wants to take Shane from Natalie, but she don't really want him. And at the end of their conversation, she basically called their relationship fake, and Shane did not check her at all. And then he brought it up to Natalie whenever they had their conversation. It's like, don't bring this to me unless you told me that you checked her and told her our relationship is not fake, it is genuine. Like, why did he make her validate that their relationship is not real? If you don't believe your relationship is real, why are you getting married to this woman? Like, I didn't like the way he handled her whatsoever. You sitting over there letting her run her mouth was trifling, right? But at the end of the day,
Shayna,
you did all of that for what? Because you weren't featured on any episode after that. How does it feel to get humbled by frat boy Beetlejuice? Like, all that thirsty and desperate behavior for what? So let's move on to Natalie and Shane's relationship. It seems like Natalie feels like she never thought she would get a Shane to marry her. And now that she has him, it seems like she was willing to be whoever he wants to be able to keep him. She claims that before she got with him, she was very independent, even in her relationships. But now it seems like she's very like codependent when it comes to him. And this was the type of behavior that I was seeing like throughout until, you know, obviously the end. But this is the way she was acting. And it's like, I didn't even see the chemistry between the two of them. So that's why it just makes me feel like, you know, he's like the jock of her high school girl dreams, but in reality it just don't even seem like they're a good match, because I think he just likes the fact that he felt like he could run her and she just wants him physically. Because when she brought up finances, she was like, she's prepared to buy a home, right? She's financially stable. Meanwhile, he doesn't even look at his finances. Girl, that wasn't a red flag to you? That didn't turn you off in the least bit? And you have all of your finances together and he doesn't even check his? Basically, he was describing himself as financially irresponsible, spending $2,000 on food. I mean, the red flag is in flames. And you're going to proudly carry this burden because you think he smells good? Girl, I was like, wake up, wake up, wake up. So then they meet each other's family. She didn't even tell her parents that she signed up for this experiment before she invited them over. I'm like, are you trying to give your parents a heart attack? Like, why do people do that to their family? When she did tell her parents, her mom was not here for it. Her dad was, you know, her dad seems like whatever his princess does, he just gonna love her, you know. But the mom was not here for it. Okay, she showed her the ring, she slapped the ring away. They were shocked that she had moved. They didn't even know she moved. Clearly Shane has some sort of charm for women, because he won her mom over fairly easy. And I'm just like, but y'all didn't even get down to the nitty gritty. Like, really, mom? I thought mom was really gonna go in on Shane. She didn't. She's disappointed me in that way. And then she met with his mother and she loved Natalie. Unfortunately, his dad passed away 2 months before the experiment, so they're still kind of going through it. And you could tell that his mother just really wanted to see him happy. Okay, so we get to the wedding day. They had a huge argument before their wedding. So I'm guessing after the bachelor party, he came home and she asked if he drank too much, and he just completely flipped out on her and said some really, really hurtful things. Like, he told her that he hated her and she was the worst thing for him. And obviously, for your fiance to tell you something like that the day before the wedding, it completely broke her down. She was all like, she broke all the way down. I felt so bad for her, because that has to be one of the most trifling things you could say to somebody. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing to be like, I hate you, you know, but it just seems like the way that he said that, he really meant it. And I feel like those were his true feelings that he let out because he was drunk. But then when they asked him about it, first of all, he didn't even want to talk about it. I feel like hearing what he said to her kind of made it clear that that bubbly personality that he tries to put on is kind of a front. And whatever he showed her that night was the real him. If he'll say something to you like that when he get mad and upset, first of all, he meant it. Second of all, he don't care nothing about you and your feelings. He's also a man that constantly needs validation from his woman, like constantly needs her to give him affirmation. Constantly she has to pet him up and make him feel like he's a man. You know what I'm saying? He has a very fragile ego, and I feel like he's built up resentment towards her because, you know, I ain't gonna lie, she does say some rude things to him under the guise of a joke. Like when he took his shirt off, she was like, ooh, put that back on. And, you know, like she said some stuff that if he would have said that to her, she probably would be running somewhere crying. So I think when she does like poke and pry with him because he's so insecure and his ego is so fragile, when she does make those jokes with him, it's built resentment up in him. And he's very childish. He doesn't really have much emotional intelligence. So I don't think he could even articulate it if he wanted to. So all this happened before they even make it to the altar. He's sitting up here jittery, can't be still, literally acting like a child, bouncing off the walls before he made it up to the altar. The mom is just sitting here like looking at him, like trying to calm him down. I mean, he just goofy making faces, and it like he's too much. He's just really too much. Like his energy, for me, someone who has anxiety, I could never be with someone like him, because him constantly bouncing off the walls would mess with my nerves. It's crazy to me, the foreshadowing before this wedding, because her mom told her, you know, basically do what's best for you. You know what I'm saying? And then when she came in and sat down, she had a very solemn look on her face. His mom came in, you know, she's a very bubbly person, but she came in looking very sad and solemn, almost on the verge of tears. And so clearly that was foreshadowing what was about to happen. I thought he was about to tell her that he didn't want to marry her, but it turns out that it was her that said no to him even after he said yes. And I know that was hard for her. I know that was hard for her because she wanted him so bad. But I am so, like, that's another one I want to stand up and clap for, because I know that was not an easy decision for her to be like, I cannot go through with this. Okay? And she walked out. I was shocked to the max when she did that. I did not see that coming at all. And that's when I knew he completely was out of line with how he acted with her the night before. I like, for her to say no, she was one that I knew for sure was going to say yes. And even she said she was going to say yes. If last night didn't happen, she was going to say yes. You know, she runs out. He runs out after her. She says that she's not closing the door, but she needs time to think. And I'm like, girl, please do not leave that door open. He already showed his true colors. Close that door. Bolt it. Like all the locks. Turn on the alarm system, okay? And you know why? Because he claimed he meant everything he said in that fight. And then that's when they revealed what was said, that he hated her and that she was the worst thing for him. He said he meant it. He meant what he said. He said out of his own mouth that he meant everything that he said. Why are you still trying to be with him? Girl, I was about to take back my applause now. I couldn't believe she was still trying to comfort him. Why are you trying to comfort him after what he said to you? He got mad. He tried to flip it on her. How many times you want me to apologize? Girl, leave that man alone. Because it just looked like he got anger issues. He goes 0 to 100 like that. I thought you were supposed to be so happy and joyous. Like, I understand this is like, you know, you got caught off guard or whatever. But the way he flipped that switch, you did the right thing. And I hope you ain't back with him at the reunion. because all of this would have been for nothing. All right, let's move on to Mallory and Salvador. You know, I really feel like during these episodes, she was like kind of going through the motions. A part of me feels like she was trying to like him, but I feel like it just she never got there with him. You know, I'm gonna be honest, seeing the rest of these episodes, a part of me feels like he was going through the motions too. A lot of things that he did for her were a little generic, like that ukulele, bringing out that ukulele got old, okay? It felt like something that you can break out, and you can elicit an emotional response from women using it because you've done that in the past. But something about him rubbed me the wrong way, and we're gonna get to it. When they're on the beach and all the couples are hanging out together, why would he tell Jared that he and Mallory have been having problems? Like, why would you tell the op that? And of course, Jared gonna try to rub in his face, yeah, me and Ayana haven't had any arguments. And I'm like, lies, because no, y'all haven't had like knockdown dragouts, but y'all have definitely had disagreements. So I felt like he was lying in that moment. And then he confronted Jared about the ring comment, and he lied again because yes, you were throwing shade. Like, Jared completely lied to him and said, well, I wasn't trying to throw shade. Yes, you were. Rewind the tape. And, you know, Jared was basically pretending like he's happy for them and he has no feelings left for her. Even though you cried your eyes out when she denied your proposal, you have no feelings left. You know, I could respect Jared a little bit more if he was a little bit more honest, but he just, he's very fraudulent. And we're going to get to Jared. And so then we have this situation where they had a blow up because it came out that he was talking to somebody else before he joined the experiment. He claims that he let the woman know that he wasn't serious, but you introduced her to your sisters. So it sounds like you were playing games with her emotions to me. Because if it's not that serious, why are you bringing her to meet your sister? And yes, you might have told her that you were doing this experiment, but it's almost like you wanted to have her on reserve just in case you didn't find nobody. And so that really made me look at Salvador in a different light, because that's trifling. I don't know, y'all. That didn't rub me the right way. The reason why we even had this conversation is because that girl showed up to his sister's apartment crying to them, hysterical that he was getting married. And you know, it just makes me feel like you were playing with that girl's emotions. It's very sketchy, and I would have felt a way about that too. Mallory had every right to be side-eyeing him after that. You know, I'm not a fan of Mallory, but I would have been giving him the side-eye too. And so that's when he pulls out the ukulele and starts singing, and that's supposed to smooth everything over. See, that's, I'm side-eyeing him too, y'all. I'm sorry. I side-eye him too. So because he did all of that to get her back, I was shocked that on the wedding day that he said no. I thought for sure Mallory was going to be the one to say no, but she didn't even get a chance to say it. I do feel like she was relieved though, because I know she wanted to say no, and you know, he's just not her type, and low-key she want to be with Jared, so I knew she was going to say no. That will only be the right thing to do. One thing I will respect about him is that when he did say no, he did address her family and he apologized. You know, I feel like that's the stand-up way to do that. But girl, she ran out of there so quick. She had a slick grin too. Whenever they had the conversation after everything was said and done, she had a little slick grin on her face. Like, girl, she was not trying to marry you anyway. And I feel like a part of me feels like he knew that and he was trying to save face. They just didn't need to be together, y'all. I just feel like both of them was deceitful in one way or another. And that just would have been a toxic farce of a marriage anyway. So finally, let's get to Ayana and Jared. If their relationship didn't start off the way it did, I could possibly have been rooting for them. You know what I'm saying? Because Ayana is such a sweet girl. You know what I'm saying? I would love to see her get her Prince Charming and be happy. You could tell she just wants to be loved. I mean, you know, whatever she's gone through in her past, clearly you know, it's left her yearning for that love from a man. And I just hate that she was willing to settle for Jared. Regardless of who he chose, whether he chose Mallory or Ayanna, I don't feel like he was ready, period. Just based off of what I'm seeing here, okay? And once again, I feel like he lies too easy for me. I already told y'all how he lied to Salvador a few times. He was lying too easy for me. That was a red flag. She's supposed to be moving in with him in his bachelor pad. That was another red flag. She tries really hard to seem unbothered, not only with the Mallory situation, but just in general. And like certain things that he does, she tries to seem unbothered, but I know her intuition is telling her that he isn't the one. They have a conversation about their future basically, and basically he wants to have kids soon. It's like, y'all just got together, y'all need to spend a little time getting to know each other, don't you think? But he's kind of like putting out there that he wants kids, and she wants to get her master's, and there are things that she wants to accomplish before she wants to have children. And you know, during this conversation, she says, well, is that why you chose Mal? Because she's more established to have children? It's like, girl, the fact that you even asked that, the fact that you constantly are comparing yourself to Mallory and constantly wondering why he was choosing Mallory tells me that y'all didn't need to be together. You shouldn't constantly have to question these things. So then she meets his parents. I love his parents. She loved his parents. Like, it was just like, I wish he was a better guy, because those seem like some of the best in-laws you could ever have. But when they told the dad was so outdone. He was so happy and he wanted to be the one to officiate the wedding. That's how happy he was for them. And it was just like such a beautiful moment. And then he meets her adopted parents that took her in when she was a teenager, I believe. And it's crazy because they really don't look that much older than her. But you know, black don't crack. They could be much older than her, but they don't look like it. I love the fact that her mom called him out for using resilience as a reason why he loves her. Every black woman in America has to be strong and resilient. Look what we put up with on a daily basis. That is not the compliment you think it is. And it's crazy because even his sister is skeptical of whether he's ready to get married or not. A big problem for them is he constantly parties and she's a homebody. And he keeps promising to adjust, but she hasn't seen any action to that yet. Even though she's constantly bringing it up, she's being too agreeable and she's just letting him get away with too much. This happening in the beginning is going to set the tone for your marriage. He knows that he can do whatever he wants to with no repercussion, just a little nagging. You know what I'm saying? You got to put your foot down at some point, and you're a married man. You don't need to be constantly going out, especially if she's not going out with you. Like, you just gonna leave her at home all the time? So then we get to the wedding, and she is so beautiful. I loved her look. I loved the dress. I loved the little flower crown she had on. She looked gorgeous for her wedding. If I had only saw this ceremony, I would have ate it up, because I love me some black love. I really, really do. But I wish she would have said no. I wish she would have said no. I hate it. I hate that she said yes, because you know, at the end of the day, you always going to be comparing yourself to Mallory. You're always going to be like thinking in the back of your mind, he really wants to be with her. You know this. And you keep pushing it out of your mind, but you know it's true. Like, you know that's how you feel. And I just hate that she's not listening to her own intuition when it comes to that. I think he's going to continue down this same path he's going down. I don't think he respects her the way that he should, and I don't think he was ready to get married. I do think they're going to stay together, though, to prove everybody wrong. You know, he probably calling us haters and everything else. So he's going to do everything he can to prove us wrong. And they're going to try to last as long as they can. But y'all let me know how y'all feel down below. I made this just for y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Please tell me what you think down below. I would love to hear your opinion. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? And I hope you enjoyed this video. And I'll see you in my next one. Peace.